they tell me we're bursting at the seams, so let's begin. My thanks to the New England Theater Conference for including me in your virtual Zoom series, Rants and Raves. You've probably already guessed which category this falls under. Last year, when theaters were still open, Yosh and I were asked to star in the first Asian American play at the Roosevelt. We were ecstatic. Oh, for those of you who didn't see the show, Yosh and I played an unhappily married couple, the only Asians in town. Stacy played my best friend, who succeeds in convincing Yosh not to skip town without me, but in the process, beds him herself. In the end, she's the only one who skips town, leaving Yosh and me to pick up the pieces. Stacy had half as many lines as I did, but right from the start, the Russian director imported from New York had eyes for her only. Oh, and Stacy is an attention snatcher. At parties, you can always find her schmoozing with the most important person in the room. In the rehearsal room, that person is the director. As my father once says, in this world, it's the nasty, selfish ones that get everything. The rest of us are put here so they can shine. It's partly our fault. They say Asian American actors stand around like idiots waiting for the spotlight to find them. Once Stacy secured the director, she zeroed in on the playwright, a timid little man who tinkered with the script almost until opening night. She badgered him to pepper her lines with the clever one-liners. I said, "Why is Stacy's language heightened and mine's like comfort food? The audience will love her. They won't even know I exist." When the playwright rewrote my best scene and gave it to Stacy, I said, "Fantastic. You've written a play about Asian Americans with a blonde bombshell as its star." That scene where Stacy sleeps with Yosh, then tells him to get his act together, that's my scene. It just doesn't make sense that you give it to Stacy. Yosh is my husband, not hers. The director sided with the playwright. He said, calm down. This is a comic scene. You have all the makings of a great tragic actress, but you'll never be able to land a joke like Stacy." Father always says, "Keep your enemies close. Don't let them out of your sight." So I watched Stacy like a hawk. I studied her moves on stage and off, like the ingenue in All About Eve. When she circled the stage, I circled the stage. And then the director says to me, "Why are you running around like a chicken with its head cut off? Just stand still and let Stacy do the running." Yosh said, I think what he meant was, she's the mover, you're the linchpin. You're still the point of our spinning world. Yeah, whatever. Yosh himself would never complain to the powers that be, but he was feeling bad because the playwright, at Stacy's insistence, had eliminated all of his tortured meditations on loneliness and married love. Stacy said, and here I kind of have to agree with her, that every time Yosh turned away from us and spoke directly to the audience, all the momentum was lost. "Just cut to the chase," Stacy told him. "Fondle me and press me against the kitchen wall. I'll take my pleasure of you and then head out the door. Enough said." Poor Yosh. Normally, he would have loved being roughed up by Stacy, but he wasn't well. He had this weird medical condition that caused him to burp and run to the loo. The doctor said his stomach had somehow squeezed itself through a hole in the diaphragm up into the lung cavity close to his heart. It's called a hiatal hernia. Stacy laughed and said she associated hernias with another part of the male anatomy. Yosh wasn't the only one feeling sick. 3 weeks into rehearsals, I got a cold sore. My mouth puffed up. I said to Yosh, careful when you kiss me. I had also gained 10 pounds and I looked like a tank. Yosh says, well, that's stress. Different folks show it in different ways. I mean, look at me. I'm ribs. Ribs! Oh, and he was right. Yeah, we look like Jack Sprat and his wife. No wonder the director said we should work on our chemistry. Josh was miserable when the director canceled 2 coaching sessions with him to have drinks with Stacy instead. On one of our midnight chats, Yosh says, oh, we both put up with a lot of indifferent directors in our lives. And Stacy, I think Stacy hates you even more than she hates me. Well, I wasn't sure who I hated more, Stacy or Yosh, for telling me that information. The next day, I told Stacy she was coming in too fast on my few remaining laugh lines. I said she might do me the courtesy of looking at me when I was talking to her. Stacy said, well, you're the one that never reacts to a word I say. At first, I thought it was a cultural thing, but now I think it's something else. You never make contact with me because you're afraid you're going to forget your lines. Whenever Stacy said something mean to me, I took it out on Yosh. I said, put a little more oomph in your lines. I can't play opposite a spineless goody two-shoes. Oh, God, I hate playing your wife. Yosh says, well, no one here likes being in the same room with you either. The director calls you a whiny troublemaker. And Stacy says you're a nasty piece of work. And I said, and did you jump to my defense? Or did you smile that inscrutable little smile of yours, burp, and run straight to the loo? Yours says, you're a racist pig. And tears welled up in his eyes. That's an excellent expression suggesting, although I know it's not intended, that there's a deep well of sadness inside all of us. When my classmates called me Missy Chinky Eyes, my father said, don't let them see you cry. They'll kill you. And he was right. For one moment, I actually wish Yosh dead. I felt like a jackal eager to pull a wounded animal out of his misery. Well, opening night arrived, and Stacy was on fire. The audience oohed and awed every time she made an entrance. Oh, it was scary for anyone else on stage when an actor gives off that special glow. Stacy's normally my height, give or take an inch, but on opening night she was 10 feet tall. Now, I never said Stacy wasn't talented. Are you listening somewhere in Zoomland, Stacy? You have talent to burn. Well, as a saying, as she says herself, she's bold and brassy, sweet and sassy. Her voice has the range of a good accordion. The bedroom scene where Stacy tells Yosh off, the scene that should have been mine. Well, the geriatric audience loved it. Stacy's voice was so loud and shrill, they didn't miss a word. The last 2 scenes, quiet, Stacy-less scenes, seemed like an afterthought. Audiences weren't crazy about warmed-over, middle-aged bliss. Yosh and I were about as exciting as 2 gherkins in a pickle jar. The theater critics barely mentioned us in their reviews. They found Stacy funny, brilliant, and ravishing. Actors say critics are the ones who arrive on the battlefield after the war is over to shoot the wounded. And the week after the reviews came out, Yosh landed in Mass General. Stacy and the director rushed over to visit him, but I decided against it. I told them Asians don't like to be visited after surgery. They're embarrassed to be seen in their ugly hospital gowns. What Yosh needs now is some peace and quiet. That was a lie. The play had turned me into a monster. The day after the show shut down, Stacy was on a local radio station saying how proud she was to have played a small role in the first Asian American play at the Roosevelt. She said her dear friend and co-star Yosh was in a coma. What are you talking about, Stacy? Yosh is my dear friend and co-star, not yours. Yosh was never in a coma. The surgery was a piece of cake. They pulled his stomach back into its proper place, and 2 days later, he was home. It's now a year later. And I hear that Yosh has landed a couple of podcasts and a radio commercial. Perfect venues, pandemic or not, for us Asian actors. I sent him an email telling him I was speaking on Zoom about our big break at the Roosevelt. I also emailed Stacy. The Russian director evidently promised her a starring role in his next play, so she's moved to New York. Good luck to you, kid. She skipped town in real life just as she did in the play, but Zoom's everywhere. So, are you watching us, Stacy? Oh, we're almost out of time, guys. Quickly, click on your Zoom button so we can see everyone in the room. Does anyone see Stacy? That's a relief. That's a huge relief. But wait, everyone, who's that man with a scarf covering half his place? Holy shit! I think it's Yosh. Oh my God, it's really you, old friend. Back from the dead, looking great. Oh, wait, so these nice folks can give us both a hand. That's right. That's right. Give us 2 survivors a hand. No. Damn. He's no longer on the screen. He shut off his video, but maybe his audio's still on. Yosh, I'm calling you the moment I make myself a cup of coffee and get into bed. I called you a dozen times after you got out of the hospital, but you never answered. This time pick up, okay? Oh. Listen, guys, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to feel to be back here again in the company of theater folk. Miracles happen when we get together. Thanks for being here for me. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, nice. Woo! Brilliant.